All right. Well, good Friday afternoon. We are once again live on Friday night, 5:30, episode 14 of our GBO Bodcast. And we have three very special guests. We have Leti Sterneckert. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, man, I was hoping, and I didn't even confirm that with you. We have Helen Horton, of course, and we have Crystal Woods. So these are all high-level pros all across the country. We will dig into that here in just a second. But what I did want to dig into, first of all, is just a couple of announcements. And more importantly, what's going on live for this week. So you guys know we have a lot of people tuning in who are athletes. And I know that it was a bummer. But what's great about GBO is the resiliency of GBO, that the South Padre show is going to be postponed until 2021. And we just got word that the Max Muscle Classic will also be postponed until 2021, which will not affect the rest of our three shows for the year. So we do have the Legacy Classic, which will be September 26th. And as of now, everything is a go. We also have Cruz's Louisiana State Championships, October 3rd. And we also have my show October 24th. So for those of you who are asking athlete-wise, yes, we are still a go for those three shows unless we hear otherwise of something catastrophic. So we have Cruz, of course. Chris, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Not really, man, other than, we're really disappointed, but at the same time, it's kind of been in the back of our minds. But, poor Scott got the call earlier this week and from the city officials, and basically we know the rest is we're not going to have that show this year. And but like you said, the resiliency, especially Scott and Lisa, man, they're already planning their events for next year. He's already got arm wrestling lined up, and he's got the powerlifting USPA guys already signed up, so that's great. Other than that, then we got the Legacy that's still on board. That's going to be, Todd puts on an amazing show. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best natural shows in Texas, if not more than that. He's still going. October 3rd, so for Louisiana. Our show is still a go. We have not, at this point, heard anything negative. As a matter of fact, we just kind of redid the contract with the venue, so that's a good sign. And that was literally this week. So they're feeling good about things. And then Matt Storm show is still rolling, 100% go. So other than those three shows that we know of here, General Area, Texas, Louisiana, we're preparing for next year. And that is something that I am constantly working on, Matt's working on. I know he's in California and Arizona big time. He's making some big pushes out there, and Scott and Lisa making big pushes in Nevada. So, I mean, we're just planning on being bigger and better and ready to go in 2021 when it's time to go. So we just need to get over this hump, man. Just get over this hump, and then things are going to really start happening.
And one of the things that we have the flexibility on, at least for our show, is we run it in a private venue. So a lot of people say, what happens if October 24th doesn't work? Well, technically, we still have November. And, Helen, I want to start with you on this, because we are going to touch a little bit on, just athletes being in prep for so long, dealing with the variables that keep coming up and challenges that pop up. Helen, let's talk a little bit about your background. I want you to keep that question in the back of your mind when we talk about athletes, because I know you're prepping for a show, and I heard, Leti, you might be prepping for a show too. You're waiting till 2021. Totally get it. We'll keep it under wraps. Yes. So Helen, you're from England. Is that correct?
I am. I'm from Oxford, England. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Tell us about your background, how long you lived there, when you got to the US, how you got into the fitness industry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I came to the US in 2002 after meeting my husband on holiday in the US. And my husband was military, retired not that long ago. And we've moved around. First stationing was Nebraska, Washington, D.C., and then Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which is where I really got into the whole fitness thing. Was really just got into it because I was trying to lose some pregnancy weight. And never wanted to set a small goal. So I said, okay, I walked into the gym, said to a trainer, hey, I want to get on stage in a year from now. And I was like way overweight. I mean, gosh. So, if you don't set a goal, then, what's the point? So he said, okay, I'll hold you to that. So we did it. And a year later, I stepped on stage. But yeah, it was really my own personal health goals, and also really getting into it from a training and coaching perspective was just really found a passion for wanting to help other women, and especially military spouses, because they don't have a lot of time for themselves. They move with their husbands, and just really wanted to give them a feeling of self-worth. And that's really how I got into the coaching and nutrition. Went back to school, got my master's degree, certified as a registered dietitian, and have really used that ever since in my practice. And I work with Leti to really provide a more kind of clinical, kind of functional medicine sort of perspective to contest prep.
How many competitions have you done? When did you earn your pro card?
Oh, loads. So, I started my first show when I got on the stage, I placed last and I looked horrible, but at least I didn't, fulfill my goal. So that was 2007. Competed with the OCB because that was kind of like the main kind of federation on the East Coast. Moved to Texas, there was no OCB, looked around for a new, fitness family home, and walked into a GBO meeting because I had some clients competing in the GBO, and just immediately just felt the love. And I said, okay, regardless of what I've done with other federations in the past, this is where I want to be. So decided to start from the ground up, got my GBO Pro card in 2018, and just, I would never compete anywhere else. I just love it. Love it. Just a sense of family. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you're business partners with Leti. Leti, if you don't mind talking a little bit about your background, because I think yours and Helen's is very much different, different paths. And I think the dog would agree. So whoever's thought that was. But tell us about you, Leti.
So I started the whole fitness journey, I can say in my early 20s. I would say that it was mainly, trying to find my passion. And I started out with kickboxing, and I was like, no, that's not how I want to look. Then I started running, and I was like, you know what, marathons are just not cutting it. I stumbled upon an online trainer, and I said, you know what, I just had a child 3 years ago, which I cannot seem to lose the weight with. I was probably 38, no, 40. I was 40. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to try to get back in shape. I want to lose these last 10 pounds. And so I said, you know what, next year I want to get on stage. So that was in 2016. I did my first OCB show was actually in Maine. And I did it at the Pine Tree State Classic, and I won first place in Masters there. And then I came back to Texas, and I was like, you know what, I want to do another one. So I did my very first NFF show. It was the Alamo Showdown, and I won my pro card in 2016, in fall of 2016. And then after that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep this going. Year after year after year, I just never took a break. And I was like, I keep going. I was going. Did a few shows in the NFF, and then I found GBO. And GBO, I can't say anything other than it's been a great community. And I feel like we're actually considered in this whole, field. So I feel like this is where I want to be too. Helen and I kind of met by accident, right, Helen?
Yeah.
So we met, I want to say, what, 2018, Helen? 2017?
Yeah, it's 2018, I think.
Okay, so we met, and then we just started working together. She was my coach for a while, and she's like, you know what? I want you to start working with me. And I was like, really? Okay. So we just said, she said, this is what you need to do. These are the classes I want you to take. I did them, and you know what? I started building up clients, and Helen and I worked together so closely that, it's just, she's taught me so much, and she's actually helped me in ways that I've never really thought I could, venture out to. So I think what we wanted to talk about, Helen, was the functional medicine coaching. So we've taken a lot of classes to help our clients, not only in the prep mode, but also in the off-season mode. There's a lot of things that, you know, as a client, you want to make sure that you're constantly learning, because there's, you know, feeding up a client. And if that doesn't work, what do you do? So these classes that Helen and I've taken have really helped our clients, you know, not stay stagnant in either a prep mode or in the off season. I've done these, taken them myself, and they've
We've
worked.
been our own guinea pigs too, haven't we?
Yeah. So we want to try it on ourselves first, and then have our clients do it. And we've had close to 6 or 7 people with these insulin resets that we've helped with manage to get over that hump and, you know, get them to where they want to be. And, you know, just, I love helping that client. And, you know, as a 40-plus-year-old, it is important to know, like, the hormone changes, you know, these things that come up as you know, go into so many preps, myself included, that you have to sometimes tell your client, hey, it's time to take a break. It's time to take a break, and you need to do all these changes so that you're ready, especially as a natty competitor, for the next competition. So that's where we're at.
Well, what's interesting, I thought you were like in your 20s. I honestly thought that.
You look so
Thank you.
I don't know how you're over 40, but you know, you're natural competitors. You obviously you're doing something right. And I know, Crystal, you and it's weird because, you know, I just realized that all of you kind of know each other or have crossed paths somehow. Crystal, tell us about you, because we first met you at the Pro Symposium. And we would like to know, there are a lot of people who've asked, okay, so who's Crystal? What's she all about? What has her journey been?
I didn't really get into fitness until quite late in life, actually. I had teenage kids at home, and I was unhappy with myself. And I smoked, and I quit smoking. And many people know this story, but I quit smoking, and I didn't want to gain any more weight. And I didn't really realize I was a little fluffy at the time, but I knew I didn't want to gain more. So I joined a gym for the first time. And as most women do that don't know any better, I hopped on a treadmill. And a trainer at the gym, Craig, my fiance now, he came up to me and he said, hey, you know, do you want to get off of this cardio equipment and learn how to lift? And here's the benefits to lifting. And I'm always up for a challenge, and I always fancy myself as being able to do anything a man can do, if not better. So I took the challenge, and he started training me, and I was a hot mess in the beginning. No stability, no strength. I was just a mess. And he started talking to me about nutrition, and I took to it. And I started tracking food and losing weight and seeing definition daily changes coming about. And he says, you know, you're really not that out of shape. You could do a show. And I said, what's a show? I had no clue. And he explained it to me, and I said, no, I'm really not interested. And I went home, and about a month later, it had been brewing, and the seed took. And I said, you know what? Damn it, let's do a show. And I figured it would keep me focused, give me something to shoot for. I did a show. I started in the gym that September. That following September, I did my first show. I started in figure, and I won my class. I failed to smile that entire show, so I lost the pro card. And I competed the following year, so that was 2013. That I won my pro card. I started in 12, won my pro card in 13, did my first world event with the WNBF and placed in the top 5, so I was 5th. And that following year, I took an off season, a full year, because I think people, not just women, but men and women of all ages, need to take time off, especially as a natural athlete. Your body needs that time off. You need to bring the body fat up to a reasonable level. And then I competed 2 more years in a row after that. I've probably, to date, after last season, I've probably competed in about 37 shows now.
Oh,
And I
Ooh.
transitioned from figure to bikini a few years ago.
wow. So what
Yeah.
was the change for you from figure to bikini? Why did you go that way?
So I love figure. I really, really love figure. And I've judged for years also, and I swore up and down I would never do bikini because in years past, it wasn't a respected class. It has thankfully since changed. But the reason for my going to bikini was because natural figure started to get much bigger in size. And genetically, I'm a very small framed individual and I carry good muscle for my frame, but I don't carry that kind of muscle. So the class just kind of outgrew me. And I knew I loved competing. I loved the industry and the sport. It is one big, huge family, and I absolutely wouldn't give it up for anything in the world. I think it has benefited me in every facet of my life. So I said, okay, well, I'm also really competitive, so I don't like to lose. So if you're gonna continue to compete, you have to go to a class that is currently suited for you. So I said, okay, we're gonna give this bikini thing a shot, and I'm gonna see if I've got the personality to do it and do it with some class and respect. And so I did. And my first time I went out, I did it. I felt a little uncomfortable, but I had fun. And so I just stuck with it and I made it mine.
Very cool. So what are your plans? Because when did you meet Helen?
Oh God. Okay, so Helen is actually a client of my fiance. So he's prepping her. And when did you start working with Craig?
2015.
Okay. Now she probably worked with him for a little time before we actually started speaking, but it was partially due to Helen why I ended up at the GBO because I've competed across all federations, natty federations. I've never competed in PC, have no plans and don't want to. But all the natural federations I have competed across. But Helen had been, telling me about the GBO and I had been asking questions and everything she had to say about it was just amazing. And I had been friends with Todd on social media for some time and I love Todd. So I was like, you know what? I'm really tired of a lot of other things I've seen in other federations. And I can't keep doing this and keep competing where I don't feel that those federations stand for what I stand for. So I said, okay, I'm going to find out all of what GBO is all about, and I'm going to become a GBO pro. And that's what I did. And I'm happy with that. I do love the people. I have not had the opportunity to step on a GBO stage as of yet. I was going to this year, actually, and this spring, and COVID hit. So, that kind of messed up all my plans. But yeah, Helen has known her for quite some time, and thankfully she brought me over to GBO.
Very cool. Well, I've noticed your fiance walk back and forth a few times, and I noticed him buff up and flex a little bit. So, I mean, he had to look good for the camera. Cruz, did you notice that?
Yeah, I had to respond. I kind of adjusted myself a little bit there when I seen
Yeah,
that.
our shoulders got a little bigger over here too. So it's like, man, we can't be outdone by
he can't
somebody
just be walking. He can't just be walking around the background of the podcast all swole like that.
Yeah,
right.
Watch, he's going to show up and be like, hello.
Yeah, he's gonna walk by with a front double by. So
I don't
parade
think
of muscle.
anybody's gonna
It's a
put
parade of
pythons,
muscle
dude.
in the background.
Well, Todd's watching and, he always appreciates the shout outs. And, what's really interesting about this group, Helen, Leti, Crystal, you're all natural professional athletes. You get tested, you stay, in season essentially year round, even when you're off season, because, competing naturally is not something that's easy. It's more of a challenge. Helen, let's talk a little bit about, because you guys have a lot of clients, that have basically had to push their plans, move it around. There's a lot of variable, a lot of change, a lot of challenge. And, what I really love about you guys specifically, or I should say gals, I know, is you've met the challenges and you've done your pivots. Meaning, hey, new game plan, here we go. And if something else changes, we got another one. Let's go to plan C. Let's go to plan D. What would you say or suggest to athletes right now who, maybe they just recently had a show that had to get postponed and, they're still moving on. I know that I prepped for a year and a half before and never got off. And it was one of those things that was probably one of the biggest challenges mentally, but probably one of the best physically, because my body functioned at an efficient level. So what are some tips that you have or some things that you've experienced with your clients?
Oh, we just obviously had SPI, unfortunately, cancel, and I had 5 athletes getting ready for that. A couple have decided, enough's enough. However, they're still, they still have goals. And, what Leti and I really stress is that, whether you decide to, if you decide to come off prep at the outset, we always tell people and we warn them in advance, hey, you can't just go to a restaurant and all you can eat buffet. We're going to have to reverse diet you. So they fully expected that we would start the reverse diet process. So we've had to talk through a lot of that this week. And then with clients that are continuing on, obviously it's gone from, maybe 4 or 5 weeks out to like suddenly 10 weeks out. So it's been the perfect opportunity for, we do diet breaks. So one of the reasons we do such long preps, can be 20, 24 weeks or more, is that we build in diet breaks. So you have to have the extra weeks for those diet breaks if we need them. And it's not a gimme, we only, implement them if we need them, but it's good to have that, safety net. So I put my people on diet breaks this week, where we take them up to their new maintenance, not what they started at maintenance, but, for their weight and lean body mass now. So they're going to have that this week off to do that, still counting macros and everything, and taking a sort of either a deload or a restorative week from the gym, so that, then we can kind of, cruise in another week and they have the energy just to get through that. But there's been a lot of pep talking, right, Leti?
A lot of that.
A lot of hand holding, a lot of pep talking, a lot of, and I think the great thing about, our team is that we really are a team and everybody just cheers everyone on. It's like, come on, you can do it. And everyone's motivated. And we really didn't lose that many clients through COVID. Most people stayed on, albeit they might have decided not to compete this year. But, they've stayed on with us, and just fair play to those who've stayed on to compete, because we've had maybe 3 people or 4 people now on the team who have contracted COVID, one of whom is competing at the Legacy. She's recovered, obviously, but they've just been so brave, and I really they motivate us.
Leti, I guess one of the things that's really respectable about you as well is the stage is not the end all be all. A lot of people say, okay, well, you have a lot of different varieties on the podcast. Why is that? Well, the fact is, this is a lifestyle, and it's habits and consistency that we're forming off the stage too. Yeah. So what people see on stage is the habits and, discipline and choices that we made a year out, and Crystal, like you said, you finally had the seed take. And, Leti, I know that, now working with Helen, you're now juggling more things. I had no clue that, you had a family and had kids and I thought you were in your 20s. So what does that mean to you when you are on stage? And, what I understand is that is just a part of your journey. What are some other things besides working with Helen are you really involved in that really pique your interest as far as this lifestyle?
That's a good question. I think that staying healthy really is a driving point for me specifically. If we're going to speak a little bit personal, I do have Hashimoto's. So it's really important for me, and it's actually a driver to stay in shape, because then my numbers stay at an even level. So it's a good thing that I love the sport and I love this lifestyle, but it's also very important as a person with this condition to stay healthy in all aspects. So Helen has helped me a lot with that, and these classes that we've taken to get certified for helping other clients, it's really driving to learn more, and it's just giving just all these new windows to try and help other people. And they don't have to be in my age group. They could be younger than me. And I do have some clients that are younger than me that are dealing with the same issue that have actually succeeded. So this, just having all this more knowledge and understanding it, and having Helen as a backup to help me understand the things that I may not get entirely, really is a driver for me, to be honest. That's what drives me. I love the sport. I just love being in this lifestyle.
So how important is food with your condition? And definitely supplements as far as, your micronutrients, your vitamins, just to keep your immune system up. What's that like for you?
I've been able to manage really well, and that's why I've chosen to stay home and do gym workouts. We've gotten a new squat rack and leg extension and bench, so we've invested in that so I could stay home and do that. And the supplements that I've taken, luckily right now I don't have to be on any thyroid medication, but supplements have really helped, and we are really up to date with what helps our clients, and not just my clients, just for me, for example, it helps me. So those have been an essential part. So it's important to be up to date with what works, what doesn't work, and how it works, first and foremost.
Good. Crystal, with you, you're in New Jersey. So you're up in the Northeast part of the United States. And I know that, we talked a little bit earlier about the gym finally opening up for you. What are some of your big plans for 2021? And really, what are you looking forward to now? It sounds like you might be having a wedding that you're planning too. You've got a couple of things off stage going. What do the next 6 months to a year look like for you?
So before COVID hit, I had already planned to take time off. I needed a year off. I did 6 shows last season. So this year, I'm calling it, I'm off season. My weight's about 15, 18 pounds up. I'm starting to cut now. Originally, I was supposed to be going next May, so May 2021, to Thailand with my son. And then I was going to come back and do a show. So I'm starting my cut just to try to bring that weight down slow, do a mini cut, stay there, bring it back down, and just slowly start to cut. And then in the fall, do a full-on cut and see where the world is. If everything has gotten better, I would like to compete and do my normal 6 to 8 shows. I don't think international travel is going to be anything we're going to be able to do. So Thailand will have to wait probably until the end of next year or the beginning of the following year. In the meantime, I'm doing other things. I'm still writing my book. I'm back at work full time. Thankfully back in the gym. I'm starting Sunday to do a little pole fitness. So hopefully that brings a little more, strength to my body. But so those are my plans. I'm hoping to compete next year, hopefully some travel, and just venturing off into a few other little endeavors to keep me focused and on point.
Very cool. So I've tried that, pole fitness, and I didn't do so well. So, Chris, I know you have one in your gym, right?
I do, yeah.
Oh
right here in my office.
That's impressive. That's amazing. Helen, tell us about your 6 months. You've been inspirational to thousands of women. You are the talk of GBO at every show. It's like, where's Helen? Where's Helen? And, everybody wants to know what's going on with you, especially coming up in your future. So can you share a couple of secrets that people might not know?
Secrets in what respect?
Just what your plans are. Maybe are you getting back on stage in 2021? What are some of your plans with your business? Where are you going in the future?
Okay, well, I'm going to be getting on the legacy stage. I was going to do Georgia, but obviously that canceled this week. So legacy, we'll see. I may be burned out by the time it gets to your show, Matt. But,
no pressure.
Okay, so all right. So here's the secret. Leti knows this secret. Nobody else does. Maybe Vic Barnwell, if you're listening, knows this secret. But actually, I was going to retire Knowledge Bomb actually this year, at the end of this year. However, Natural Atlas, unfinished business. So I guess I'm not going to be retiring because I want to get on that stage at the Atlas.
Absolutely.
So Legacy, maybe Storm. We'll see how much energy I have left, and then I may take a year off and build a little bit because I've been in prep since January. It's been that's a long time for a natural athlete to be in prep. So I'm feeling kind of a little bit burned out right now, but either the end of next year or the year after, I am definitely going to visit the Natural Atlas stage for sure. And then as far as business is concerned, Leti and I are just exploring more new opportunities to work not only with athletes, but also, more general population who want help with, various underlying diseases, and losing weight. And we're really expanding in that respect. But yeah, it's going to be a good 2021, but it's been a good 2020 for us too, in all respects.
So with the, and this is kind of where I went with the retiring eventually, are you looking to expanding more clients or expanding, I mean, like partnering up with Leti, do you plan on bringing figures to even bigger level without having the burden of getting ready for a show?
I don't know. I'll have to talk to my business partner about that.
Yeah, because that's kind of where the mind, I was competing and it just got so overwhelming with clients that it's almost impossible to even think about it. When you got 70, 80 people you're working with, and then you got to worry about you. It don't really happen. So I just kind of transitioned to living vicariously through my clients.
I know. Well, we're trying to automate a lot more of what we do too. Because right now, I mean, I'm just an old school pilgrim when it comes to writing out diet plans. I do everything manually. So
I do the same thing.
Looking at various, diet planning software, the RD diet planning software, and trying to streamline our business a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's work in progress, but we're trying.
And talk about that, man. I've looked into that stuff too, and have been approached by people with this and that, but man, I'm still word program. It's like I can't get into streamlining that because I feel like I'm cheating almost, making it easier on me. So and that's with how I am with clients, and I know you are too. But for me, it's hard to let go to some new technology to make it easy, because like I said, I'm old school as hell, and I feel like I'm almost cheating if I went to some kind of nutrition plug-in program thing, so it's just kind of weird. But yeah, it's I think it's great, expanding, because you obviously know what you're doing, so then you have many clients. So I would love to see y'all grow even more, so because it's beneficial for GBO also.
Didn't you say, Cruz, last week that you didn't even count macros in your gym?
I really don't. I don't look at macros. I don't look at calories, but I do handwrite every single plan.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. Leti, do you want to spill the beans on your rest of 2021?
I would say this is my full year of taking some time for the first time in 6 years. So I want to see how COVID starts to slow down. Thinking about a show for, I would say the summer would mean starting again in January, Helen. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm not staying within the 15 to 18 pounds, that I need to stay, because that's a constant. It's not gonna, that's not one of those things that I worry about. What I worry about is, have I taken enough time to get back on the stage and have enough muscle? Now that I've got my gym, I've got, all the equipment I need now, all the weight I need. So I would say, if anything, it would probably be a summer show. If not, wait until, the fall and maybe do your show. But yeah, that I haven't really thought about it, because it's been handling our kids and keeping them focused and off the ledge and, all kinds of stuff just to kind of keep them going. And So I kind of put myself on the back burner, so to speak, and just kind of, there's a lot of, I have a lot of clients that are doing their first show.
Mhm.
And so it's more of the hand holding.
You have all the newbies this time.
And they're doing really good, and they're just so motivated because they've never done another show. So they're just, I'm so proud of them for just staying so focused. But yeah, I've not really thought about for me anything. No.
So here's the big question. Would you consider the 2021 Natural Atlas is what Todd wants to know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, Todd.
Yes, Todd.
Absolutely, Todd.
And this would be the question. So you're pro beach body. Crystal, you would be in women's pro beach body. Would you
Correct.
consider the 2021 and tell us about your second half. Would you do the 2021 Natural Atlas or the Standard Atlas?
I would do the natural, and yes, I would. I would love to.
All right. Well, what's interesting is the more, that we, every year we get a crop of new pros, and we have some of them making their debut at the end of this year, assuming everything is full go. And it seems that the quality continues to get better. Crystal, you mentioned that you've competed in every natural federation, and, you think you found a home here, which we're super excited to have you. Because once we see you on the stage, you're going to get to showcase your hard work. And, one of the things that I believe as a family is we appreciate people who, when they find a home with us, it's just an immediate absorption of just friends, family, and, really culture. And that's what we really love to exhibit. So, as we grow, the Northeast influence that we have in GBO is starting to grow as well. I mean, it's all over the country and worldwide. So, if you were to, if people wanted to follow your journey, what's the best way that they can follow you on social media or just anywhere that they can get in contact with you to see what you're going to be doing?
I am mostly on Instagram, and that's at Rights and Weights. So rights like with a pen and weights. And then my website is the same, rightsandweights.com. And Facebook, I'm on there as Crystal Woods. So I am very active on social media. I do post daily, and I post a lot of my workouts and my food and what I'm doing. So if anybody wants to find me or ask me questions, that's where they can find me.
Cool. And one question follow-up wise, do you work any at all in the fitness industry?
So I'm actually full-time a registered dental assistant, and that's my day job. And my passion is I am a cohort with my fiance who runs a contest prep, but he is the knowledge behind all of the training and nutrition, and I stay in my lane as far as that because that's not my education, formal education. I can help with things. I am the support system with the team. Especially during this time, it's right now it's not a physical problem, it's a mental problem because everybody really needs that mental support right now. And prep in and of itself is just a very big mental thing. So I support that, and I'm a posing coach. So that has also really started to come back. I've actually been seeing clients the last several weeks, and people are getting more interested in getting their posing perfected because they are making plans to get back on stage soon. So that's a very encouraging thing to see happening. So that is my involvement in the fitness industry. As far as professionally, I'm a posing coach and I support the team. And I judge, I help out at shows and things of that nature.
And that was just the other thing too, was yes, they are all certified judges. We'll probably see you, if not on stage, definitely on staff, and really look forward just to having you. And hopefully we can get you down to Texas and down over to the West Coast here soon too, if that's okay with you.
I would love it. And I am entertaining the thought of promoting again. So haven't made a decision yet, but it's on the table and I'm thinking about it.
Nice. That would be cool. Any plan? Would you do it in Jersey?
Absolutely, yes.
Ooh, very cool.
So maybe bring GBO a little further east.
And
We're,
north.
we're okay with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
all
good to me.
good. All good.
I bet
Helen,
Todd's making
how
a
can-
post right now.
Yeah. Everybody's like, no.
Yeah.
Helen, how can people follow you? What's the best way, social media wise?
Oh, well, Letty and I have a team Instagram page at Brook Figures Coaching. I'm notorious for not posting. I don't post any stuff about myself online. I'm just a hermit, you know? So poor Letty, she's kind of my social media kind of person. And we need to get posting again, Letty, because we've been kind of quiet.
We've been quiet because I think we've been dealing with making sure our clients are okay.
Yeah.
That it's been more of that focus, but you're right. We've got to get out there and put more things out there for everybody. That's where we are. That's our main page, Matt.
Well, what's interesting is it does create a little mystery because they're like, well, what's Helen and Letty up to? And so when you do post something, you get a lot of engagement. And I think a lot of the times with what I'm seeing just on the comments, I think people are going to be more involved in what you have to say because you bring a functional medicine aspect that very few people can bring. You know, a lot of competitors want a competition prep, but they don't get the other side and the, bonus of what you guys can add, especially reversing out, doing diet breaks and doing it more long-term. You're not just looking to the stage, you're looking at 2 years down the road and the stage just happens to be when you're ready. So that's what we really appreciate about your journeys and really, that. So I know that I wanted to respect your time and keep it to the 45 minutes that we agreed upon. So that way we didn't overextend you into your other Friday night obligations, as I know some of us are traveling to Dallas tomorrow, which, getting up bright and early for that we don't, but, instead of going tonight. But yes, last word, Cruz, anything that you had on your agenda that I missed or that you missed that you would like to ask or people should know about?
Real quick, and I really want to ask Crystal this because she's kind of outside looking in as far as GBO Naturals. I assume you're aware of our testing, like we have the WADA testing, I believe.
Correct.
In your experience with the other organizations, how many other of those are doing that, if any? And then second of all, like, does that attract you even more to compete GBO Natural?
So the other organizations are testing. Everybody is a little different in what they do. So depends on what labs they use. Some do polygraph testing, some don't. Some say they test, but there is huge evidence that they don't, or no guarantee that they do. I know, even though I've never stepped on a GBO stage, I know that the GBO is testing. I know that they are good to their word because it's not just, it's the people that are behind the GBO. And Helen is a person that I would take her word for anything. And I don't trust anybody. I'm not a very trusting person. It's just my nature and how I grew up. And if Helen tells me something, it's the gospel. Now, that's not my only consideration. Other people that I've met, I know that they're doing it. I know that they're wanting to institute also. Last year, I was reading, you guys are looking into instituting polygraph also for athletes. And everything that you do, everything that the GBO does is for the athlete, in consideration of the athlete, and to keep everything as a fair playing field. And you're transparent about it. And that's what a lot of people don't do, is they don't give transparency. They don't answer questions when they're asked. I asked a lot of questions when I came to Texas for the Pro Symposium, and I came specifically so that I could put faces to names and ask questions and watch body language and responses, because it's not always the words you want to listen to, right? It's body response.
Right.
And I got nothing back but everything that I was hoping. And in a lot of other organizations, I've seen firsthand where they'll be testing an athlete in a bathroom and there'll be 3 other containers of urine with no names on the sink. Well, what happens when you get that mixed up?
Right.
Or, other people say they test. I've never been tested. I've never been off-season tested. And so I don't trust fully a lot of other organizations. So outside looking in, I trust GBO. And for me to say that, to me is a big deal because I don't trust easily.
Yeah, and that was the perfect answer because we most likely have people that are on that fence of competing GBO natural, and probably because of some of those reasons in other organizations is why they're on the fence of going and competing in any natural organization.
Sure.
So that's, so you nailed it perfectly. So now surely anybody that's sitting on that fence knows that they're going to be tested just like everybody else, same level playing field, all that. So
And if anybody had questions and they wanted to ask me personally and they were fearful to ask here, I'm happy to answer questions always.
Right. Yeah, or we, like you said, and that's been Todd doing all the implementing the stuff that he has been has made me super proud to be involved with Todd in the GBO Naturals, because I know Todd and I know that as y'all said, everybody's going to treat you like family. Everybody's going to be on the same level playing field, like it or not. So and that I know is a huge deal for natural competitors.
Yeah,
so,
and
so
just real quick, Todd, he is beyond reproach. Todd would never let the natural competitors, he would never let anything be subpar or up for question, ever. He's an amazing soul.
That's why we love him. Yes. Well, obviously with, the things going on, ladies, and just being here to share a little bit about you and what your plans are and what you do. I absolutely love the fact that people are getting nuggets left and right. They're able to pull and draw something out of this, especially in a time where, we thought we might be, it's just a roller coaster. And, mentally right now, I think, Helen, you hit it right on the head when you said, look, it's Crystal, you said it too. It's more mental than physical right now. We can control what we put in our mouth, how much cardio we do, and even though it's 5,000 degrees in Texas right now, and you go out for cardio and you sweat 10 pounds off. Yeah, that's great. But, we're still on point. And I think really, truly what we're doing right now, especially mentally, is the tough choices that we're making shows us that we are professionals. And, you're taking the time out on a Friday night, you're able to share those things, and we really appreciate it. And we miss you guys. We can't wait to see you again live in person. I know the Diva was the last time we saw some of you, and even the Pro Symposium. But I guarantee you, it's going to be a fun time when we get back together. And we look forward to having you, Crystal, traveling down from Jersey, as I know that we're really all in Texas, and we welcome you when you're here. So
thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Ladies, thank you again. We are going to sign off, and of course, we'll be back next week with some amazing individuals, and we can't wait for it. So I wanted to share this one thing. And this is part of the shirt, but we do want you to have a blockbuster night. So definitely make it a blockbuster night, whether it be Netflix, whether it be a video cassette. Hey, I'm going crazy now. Yeah, you can see the COVID. Look, literally, my kids almost burned down my house. That's where I left because I smelled something, and sure enough, something's on fire downstairs. I don't know how bad it is yet, but we're about to go find out. So until then, enjoy your Friday. Happy weekend, and we will look forward to catching you again next Friday, 5:30, same time, same place.